We made it to our last comfort food movie.
Yeah, which is why I'm wearing my Taco Bell shirt.
And we almost survived November.
Almost. We still have a few days left.
So you never know, but it was a doozy.
Yeah.
I'm Erin.
I'm Tom.
This is Baby's First Watch List here with the movie starring my third favorite rat.
Who were your first two?
From The Sopranos. Do you like that joke? Shh, don't spoil it. Kaylee and Alex are like on season 2.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You have to bleep that out.
I'll bleep that out.
Okay. And then the other one.
Yes.
With
Yes.
a P?
Yes.
Okay. So that was pretty funny. I was cracking up right in that little joke there. Yeah, it's 2007's Ratatouille. Woo! Tom's choice.
It was. I had seen this movie a bunch, but never like start to finish. So I was happy to
It's a good one.
get it under the belt.
It only took us 2 shots to watch it.
Yes.
Both of us were like falling asleep a half an hour in.
No. Not both of us.
Yeah, both of us. This animated film was written and directed by Brad Bird, who also directed movies such as The Iron Giant, The Incredibles, and Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, 3 pretty similar movies.
Yeah. I saw his Wikipedia is kind of interesting.
Well, he wasn't the original director,
No, I know.
but
We'll
he
talk about
came
it.
in to clean it up.
Yes. His kids are in some of his movies, which is kind of fun, and in some other movies too. Like his
Nepo
one kid,
babies.
his one kid voiced Squirt from Finding Nemo.
Who was Squirt again? Oh,
The
the
little
turtle.
turtle.
Yeah, I asked you this the other day.
He also, some people say that his movies have a lot of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism.
Strange.
He denies it.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Do you know, get emails like all the time about like, oh, get your free Ayn Rand books for your students? Like
From who?
the Ayn Rand Foundation. And I'm like, no. Anyway.
Not in the curriculum.
It's not. The story is credited to Bird, Jan Pinkava,
Who was
who
the
was
original?
the original director and like person that really spearheaded it, and Jim Capobianco. Pinkava directed Jerry's Game. That's that Pixar short about the chess game with the old guy.
Classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. I think it won an Oscar.
I think so too. Was that before Toy Story? That was an older
I think it
one.
was like old.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cinematography was by Sharon Callahan, who was the director of photography for many Pixar films, and Robert Anderson. It was edited by Darren T. Holes, who was involved in movies like The Iron Giant, Ops,
Yep.
Lilo and Stitch, How to Train Your Dragon, and Song of the Sea, which is the one like
Cartoon
others-
Saloon.
Yeah, that we haven't seen.
Yeah, the Wolf Walkers and Secret of Kel's studio.
Exactly. Michael how do you say his name?
Giacchino, I think.
Yeah. Michael Giacchino, I should know this, did the music. He has an Oscar for Up. He has an Emmy for Lost. And he has Grammys for Ratatouille and Up.
Yeah. He also directed the little-known Marvel TV special from a year or two ago, Werewolf by Night, which everyone loved. Like the people who watched it. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Development of Ratatouille started in the year 2000 with Pinkava in charge. So once he left, Brad Bird became involved. He changed some things in the script.
Off the heels of The Incredibles.
He figured it out. Yeah. I like The Incredibles. That's a good movie.
Randian, apparently.
Huh?
Ayn Randian, apparently.
Allegedly. According to Wikipedia. The animators for the movie, they consulted chefs from the U.S. and Paris, which was good because they made that food look real good.
Yeah. That's why we picked it for Comfort Foods Month.
There you go. And the crew did spend time in Paris to sort of set the scene so that they, wanted that romantic feel. Romantic.
Really method of them to travel to Paris.
Yeah.
for
Oh,
this.
that must have been so hard.
Must have been hard. You got to dig deep, you know?
Producer Brad Lewis, I say intern, but okay. French Laundry, a famous Thomas Keller restaurant for like 2 days.
Yeah.
So we got to kind of see what it was like in
French
there.
Laundry is the one that the bear is supposedly like taking from, or is it that, or is that Noma, like the one that he used to work at in the bear?
I don't know.
Just
French Laundry is a very, very famous restaurant in Napa, in California. And I looked up right now, it's $350 per person.
Okay.
That does include tip, allegedly. Yeah. So it's pretty wild. It's a very, very famous restaurant, though. It's been around for forever. And Thomas Keller, if you
we're frequent guests.
Yeah, right. And Thomas Keller, like, you know, you'll see him on like Top Chef and stuff.
Yeah, I know who Thomas Keller is.
He also has I don't know if it's still up there. I think it is, the restaurant Per Se.
Okay.
Which is another big one. So the film's Ratatouille dish was designed by Keller.
Per Se does appear to still be around.
And he kind of took his recipe for confit bialdi, which sort of took Ratatouille, went back to its traditional like Turkish roots, the way that like he made it or whatever, and it looks just like the one in the movie. And that recipe was first written down in 1999, although Ratatouille allegedly has been around for longer than that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. I didn't know that Thomas Keller was like a consultant and helped make that dish look the way that it did in the movie.
I read that throughout my trivia research, but I don't think I used that for one of mine.
It's pretty neat. Starring Patton Oswalt, Janine Garofalo, Ian Holm, Brad Garrett, and Peter O'Toole. Not a French one among them.
No.
Ratatouille was released in June 2007 to great reviews. It was a big success, making $623.7 million on a $150 million budget. It was the 6th highest grossing film of that year, second in animation behind Shrek the Third.
Oh, yeah.
And it was nominated for 5 Oscars. Score, sound editing, sound mixing, before they became the same thing. Mm-hmm. Original screenplay.
Yeah.
Which I was like, wow. And it won Best Animated Feature.
Well, one of my trivias is that there was a whole controversy, but strategy thing about whether Walt Disney Pictures was going to push it for Best Picture. Mm-hmm. And they decided not to because they didn't think it would win, and B, they wanted to secure the win in Best Animated Feature. They didn't want to let Best Animated Feature slip away.
Okay.
Because they were focusing on Best Picture. I don't think that would have happened. I don't think that makes any sense.
No.
But I don't know. I'm not an Oscars race guru, so
that is interesting.
Maybe I should be.
Maybe you should be. I mean,
hit me up, Walt Disney Studios.
Hey, it's coming up soon. Our Oscars extravaganza.
Yeah.
We're about that time again.
I would have pushed Ratatouille for Best Picture.
Why not?
Yeah.
So
what was up for that? What was up for Best Pictures that year?
I don't know. Look it up.
2008.
It must be 2008. I know Juno beat it for screenplay.
It could have got
Atonement.
It could have got in over Michael Clayton.
I haven't seen Michael.
It was
Clayton.
No Country for Old Men, Atonement, Juno, Michael Clayton, and There Will Be Blood.
Oh wow, that's a pretty good year.
And it was right 2 years before they moved it up to 10.
Yeah, that's a good year. So
if it was 10, it would have made it.
Oh, definitely. Post Ratatouille the movie, lots of video games have been released for the movie. Remy is featured in Kingdom Hearts 3.
He is.
He is the main chef for Scrooge McDuck.
Yes.
Which is funny. I don't know. Does he have a restaurant?
I guess. He does, because that's where you like talk to him.
Oh, okay. And I think Sora, is that the main character? He's like, he helps Remy.
He does.
But he just calls him Little Chef.
Yes.
Yeah, which my sister thought his name was Little Chef the whole time. She was like obsessed with
for like years.
Oh, look, I got Little Chef. I'm like, why do you keep calling him Little Chef?
It's because that's what Linguini calls him.
Anyway,
he can't tell him his name. He can't speak human.
I understand that. There is a theme park ride in both Disneyland Paris, and now it's newish in Epcot in Disney World, where I think you're like as little as Remy and you're like scurrying around the restaurant. I haven't been there since 2019, so I have not gone on it yet, but I'm really excited.
One pandemic ago.
Yes. The France Pavilion, even before its expansion, which again I haven't seen yet, has been my favorite pavilion. What's your favorite pavilion?
I like Morocco.
Morocco's nice. Morocco for a while was funded by the Moroccan government.
Does not surprise me.
They flew in people to like make sure that it was like
legit.
Yeah.
That does not surprise me because it's so random.
Yeah.
Like and among all the other countries there.
Yeah. Yeah, the French Pavilion I think just has so many things that I like there. Like I love the boulangerie.
Norway's cool too.
Norway's cool. Japan's cool. I like they have like really cool stores and stuff.
Yeah. They have like pagodas and stuff, right? The buildings.
Yep. The The worst one is probably
America.
United States. Yeah, it's not very exciting.
We should get out of the U.S. if we think that.
And okay, anyway. So
On Wandering in Disney, they ranked Germany last.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Germany doesn't really. I mean, I like Beer Garden.
Canada is 10.
Yeah.
America's 9. Italy's 8.
I was going to say Italy's kind of lame.
UK is 7.
Oh, I like UK. They have a cool garden.
Norway is 6. China is 5. Mexico is 4.
Mexico's so cool.
Japan is 3. Morocco's 2. France is 1.
There you go. Wow, we know our stuff, don't we?
We just agree with this one list.
Did you know that during the pandemic there was an unofficial musical, Ratatouille the musical?
No.
So
They did a short too, right? Like My Friend the Rat or something like that?
Oh, I don't
Or
know.
Your Friend the Rat?
But I know that this musical was crowdsourced by TikTok fans.
Of course.
So like an elementary school teacher like made it, and then like they were like, we need to get it actually made. And then in like 2021, in order to raise money for the Actors Fund, because no one was working at that time with the COVID pandemic going on, there was a performance of it, and Titus Burgess played Remy.
Wow. Wow.
And it ended up raising $2 million for the Actors Fund.
I found Your Friend the Rat. It came out before Ratatouille. It's an 11-minute special. It stars Remy and Emile, who argue for the reconciliation of humans and rats. There's a variety of different animation styles. It's directed and written by Jim Capobianco.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, and it stars Patton Oswalt. There's a musical sequence, the whole thing. It won the Best Animated Short Subject at the Annie Awards.
Yeah, the animated awards,
Yeah, so it came out beforehand, and it's the only special to have a cameo of a protagonist of a film that will be released a year later, which was a cameo of Wall-E.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so maybe this was after Ratatouille.
It has to be after.
Yeah, maybe it was after Ratatouille.
Well,
It was, sorry, because Brad Bird produced.
okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Finally, in more recent movie news, a Ratatouille parody was featured in what movie?
Ratatouille parody was featured in, what movie was that? I know exactly. Was it?
Very recent.
Yeah.
Very big.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was it? Ratatouille or something?
Yeah.
And it was, heavily featured, and it's like a whole thing.
Rakakuni.
Yeah.
The raccoon. Yeah.
And it was like throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
that
so
movie
funny.
did that a lot. It hit the joke like over and over and over again.
Yes,
But
very much
Rakakuni was really good.
I like that part. So that is Ratatouille.
That's it.
Oh,
We'll
wait,
see you
I have
next
a New
week.
Jersey connection.
You do have
I
a-
have 2 New Jersey
You have
connections.
one layup.
Okay, ready? Get connected for free. Free. New Jersey connections. So, number 1, Janine Garofalo.
Yes.
She was born in Newton, New Jersey, which is up in Sussex
Up
County.
north.
She moved all around, though, but that's where she was born.
She gives me, when I think of her, I think New York.
Yeah, right? She gives
I don't
New
know
York
if she
vibes.
has New, yeah.
So does Brad Garrett, but he was California.
Yeah, true.
And then the big one here, Michael Giacchino.
Yep.
He's from Riverside, which I've
is
played in field hockey all the time. And
smoked him.
usually. Yeah. And he actually went to school in Edgewater Park, New Jersey, a small little town in Burlington County where my mom taught for many years. And he ended up graduating high school from Holy Cross, who we hated playing in sports. It was like the local-ish private school. And it was like, they think they're better than us.
Of course, Michael Giacchino is affiliated.
Yep. So that was pretty cool that he's very, very local.
Yeah.
And no one's ever heard of, Edgewater Park. So
Yeah.
pretty neat. So that's all I got.
Okay. You want to hear the taglines? They're not very good.
Yeah. Is it like, oh,
There's 3.
the
There's
city
3.
of love, the
No.
city of rats.
Nothing Paris,
Ratatouille.
nothing Paris related. First one, Dinner is Served. Summer 2007.
That's all right.
Garbage. Number 2, A Comedy with Great Taste.
Mm.
Like, these could be any.
What about the rat?
These could be any food
I want
movies.
more about rats.
Number 3, and finally, He's Dying to Become a Chef.
That one's kind of funny.
They're not good. I feel like I actually wrote that we should come up with Ratatouille taglines, but I forgot to tell you. So
Okay.
Maybe we'll start doing that if I come up with some that are bad, like ones that don't have good taglines, we'll do ones that are better.
Mm-hmm.
We'll earn our keep. We'll become Hollywood tagline writers.
Okay.
All right. Ratatouille plot summary. Okay. Tried to make this as tight as possible. Remy, played by Patton Oswalt, a young rat, dreams of becoming a chef like the late Auguste Gusteau, but the rest of his colony only eat for sustenance and are wary of humans. The rats live in an attic outside Paris, but when they're discovered, they are forced to evacuate, and Remy is separated from his family.
Wait, I got one. From sewers to 5 stars.
Okay.
Ratatouille.
Yeah, I guess. Encouraged by an imaginary Gusteau, played by Brad Garrett, Remy explores until he finds himself on the roof of Gusteau's restaurant. Remy notices the restaurant's new garbage boy, Alfredo Linguini, who is played by Lou Romano. I forget his name. I think it's Lou Romano. But also that. Oh, anyway, he's attempting to fix a soup that he ruined, and Remy jumps in to fix Linguini's mistakes.
It was his own fault. He's not supposed to be touching the soup anyway.
No. Linguini catches Remy in the act, but does not reveal him to Skinner, Gusteau's former sous chef and the new owner of the restaurant. Skinner confronts Linguini, but when the soup is accidentally served and succeeds, Colette, the restaurant's only female chef, convinces Skinner to keep Linguini and uphold Gusteau's motto, anyone can cook.
Great motto.
After demanding that Linguini replicate the soup, Skinner spots Remy and orders Linguini to take him outside and kill him.
Why don't you just do anyone can cook as your tagline?
Anyone can cook.
I think that's
And
cute.
it's him, it's a rat.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Done.
Anyone can cook. Remy, once they are alone, Linguini convinces Remy to help him cook, which... Okay. Remy controls Linguini's movements like a marionette pulling on his hair. They recreate the soup and continue cooking. Colette begrudgingly trains Linguini, but steadily comes to appreciate someone heeding her advice. Later, Remy finds his brother Emile and reunites with the clan. After Remy tells his dad, Django, that he intends to stay at the restaurant, Django shows him a group of exterminated rats to convince him that humans are dangerous, but Remy ignores his warnings. Meanwhile, Skinner discovers through a letter from Linguini's late mother that Linguini is the son of Gusteau and the rightful owner of the restaurant per his will. Skinner is shocked and enraged, as Gusteau's will stated that he would inherit ownership of the restaurant only if no biological heir appeared 2 years prior to the latter's death. What type of life was Gusteau leading if there were possible biological heirs? Not presumably more than one, if that's what the legal language is going to be.
Gusteau, he was a very charming man.
The city of love.
That's right.
After his lawyer verifies that Linguini is Gusteau's heir, Skinner hides the evidence in an envelope, but Remy finds it and runs away. Remy can apparently read English, I presume from cookbooks, showing the documents to Linguini, who then forces Skinner out. That happens really fast. Mm-hmm. The restaurant thrives as Remy's recipes become popular.
I thought it was like a dream sequence at first.
When he gets replaced, when Skinner gets replaced?
Yeah.
Nah. They said, nah, bro.
It was real.
It's Linguini time, baby. Linguini's life improves as he develops a romantic relationship with Colette. Food critic Anton Ego, played by Peter O'Toole, which is a great villain name, whose previous negative review indirectly led to Gusteau's death, announces that he will eat at the restaurant. After Linguini takes credit for Remy's cooking at a press conference, he and Remy have a falling out. As revenge, Remy leads his clan to raid the restaurant's pantries for food. Linguini arrives to apologize, but upon discovering the raid, he furiously kicks Remy and the other rats out. The next day, Remy is captured by Skinner, but freed by his family. After returning to the restaurant, he and Linguini reconcile, and Linguini reveals the truth to his staff, who all immediately quit. Mm-hmm. That's what you gotta do.
I mean, yeah.
Reminded of Gusteau's motto, anyone can cook, Colette returns to help Django and the clan cook to Remy's directions while Linguini waits tables. Skinner and a health inspector arrive, but the rats lock them in the pantry. Remy cooks a version of Ratatouille, reminding Ego of his mom's cooking. Ego asks to meet the chef and is stunned upon being introduced to Remy after the restaurant closes for the evening. The next day, he writes a review titled France's Finest, stating that he has come to understand Gusteau's motto, anyone can cook, and describes Remy, without revealing that he is a rat, as, quote, nothing less than the finest chef in France. After Skinner and the health inspector are released, they inform the authorities and the restaurant is immediately shut down. Remy, Linguini, and Colette open a bistro called La Ratatouille, which a now happier Ego invests in and frequently visits. the rat colony settles into the bistro's attic as their new home. Ratatouille. Finn.
There you go. Perfect.
That's Ratatouille, baby.
That's Ratatouille. So, okay, I was looking at a couple more people from the unauthorized Ratatouille musical performance.
Okay.
So you know how Titus Burgess plays Remy?
Yes.
His dad, Django, is played by Wayne Brady.
Wow.
His brother, Emil, is played by Adam Lambert.
Oh, my God.
And Linguini is played by Andrew Barth Feldman, who was in No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence.
Now, that is a crew right there.
I mean, and that's not even everybody. Like,
Right.
It's crazy.
Listen, when you got Wayne Brady pulling up.
You know it's real.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start here. I want to know, what is the best thing about this movie? What do you think? What maybe separates it from other Pixar movies that you like? What's the best thing about it?
I actually have a similar question that we can maybe combine.
Okay.
I wrote, is this in your upper tier of Pixar movies?
Well,
and if so, why?
No, because I have a what are your 5 favorite Pixar movies? So
Oh, okay.
let's wait on that.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, I like in this movie that I like when one thing in a movie hides in something else. So this movie is about like identity, feeling out of place, sort of like wanting something more. And it explores the idea from both Remy's perspective and from Linguini's perspective. And you also get this sort of vain perspective of like ego and like the whole critic analysis thing. But the thing that I like is that this movie takes those relatable, human, omnipresent ideas and puts them in a very, very specific context in the food industry, whether you're waiting, cooking, or, you know, being a critic or eating. Like, I like when things can take major, broad ideas and can put them into a package that is a very niche thing. And I also love the way that the movie sort of dovetails everything together.
Yeah.
Like they're two separate stories. Like Linguini's story is separate from Remy's story, and they hit together at these certain like nodes where everything sort of logically comes together in the screenplay. It's an excellent screenplay.
It is.
And each of the scenes together, when they're together, sort of reinforce the scenes when they're apart, and they continue to logically drive the narrative forward. And they reach their individual destinations of like self-determination together, which I think is just an expertly done movie from start to finish. So that's what puts it above a lot of the other ones for me.
That's cool. I think that the setting does set it apart.
I just think it was funny the way you said that.
The setting, it does. So I think that like
this was the first one besides Finding Nemo to not take place in America.
That's interesting. Yeah, Finding Nemo is Australia.
Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah. Or was it New Zealand? Sydney.
It's off of Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one I thought like was really love lettery to Paris.
Yeah.
As a city.
Minus having absolutely zero French cast members.
I mean, besides that, which I thought that was. I noticed. I said that too when we were watching. But what I liked about it was it really leaned into the French identity, sort of.
Yeah.
Where like the setting is a character itself. Like Remy is not just in love with cooking, but he's in love with French cooking.
Yeah.
That like eating good food in Paris seems to be like the thing,
the dream,
right? Yeah. So.
But it's an American idea of Paris too.
I mean, of course.
Which I don't know if that's how Parisians feel too. Maybe they do, but it's definitely what we grew up on thinking Paris was, you know?
Well, and some other things, like I feel like they took a little bit of a risk making sure that it had that Parisian feel. Like they're drinking wine all the time, which is something that I don't think I would have seen in a Pixar movie.
I think this was the first one where that happened.
Yeah. Like Gusteau has a love child. Like that is not something that you would really
again,
see.
According to the legal language of his will, possibly had more.
Yeah. So like there's all these things that like, you're right, are sort of an Americanized like view.
I don't think that's necessarily even a bad thing. I just wanted to point that out.
But
in case we have any French listeners who are like, that is not what the France is like.
But it's I think a really really nice way to look at it. And like through that lens of like, oh, it's Paris, like the whole time, and it makes Paris look really nice.
This movie couldn't have taken place anywhere else.
No, definitely
it would have had to be a completely different movie.
Is there anything that you'd change about this movie?
I actually thought there was weirdly not that much Remy, like less than I thought. And I love Remy and I love Patton Oswalt. I would maybe have done more of the come up with Remy.
Oh, okay.
You know, a little bit more sewers, a little bit more that type of stuff. I just think it would have added a little bit more personality to the whole rat clan. I thought that they were cool, and I got the point of what they were going for with Emil and Django, but I think it would have, the end when they're all helping out, I think would have hit a little bit harder if we got a little bit more connection between Remy and his colony.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. I would have done a little bit less of the villain guy.
Ego?
Not Ego.
Oh, Skinner.
Skinner.
Yeah.
He's annoying.
He is annoying.
So I didn't like him.
Okay.
But not even like, oh, I hate him. He's a villain. I was just like, ugh. Okay.
I liked the bit with him doing all the frozen foods.
No, I like
all
that
the ethnic
too.
frozen foods.
I like that. I thought that was funny. But
especially once we got to the end. The only reason he's there is because we need to have stakes of like, oh my God, someone's going to catch Remy.
Yeah, of course.
Without it being Ego who has to eat the food at the end.
Right.
So it would have to be somebody, I guess.
Right.
But
how so would you consider this one of your top Pixar movies?
I would. It's in my top 4.
What's your top 5?
Okay. I'm going to go no specific order.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Ratatouille, Toy Story 3, Up, and Coco.
Oh, those are really good. Wait, my list that I was thinking, I don't know. All right. So, yeah, I think Ratatouille's in there. Okay. And then Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc. is great.
It's always my I loved Monsters, Inc. I've loved Monsters, Inc. since I saw the preview for it. And then the mom.
Yes.
Okay. So, I went to see some movie. I forget what it was. And
this wasn't one of the ones with the priest?
No. No. So
Babysitter's Club, we'll get that one.
It was when I was way little, and we were watching the previews, and this one came up for Monsters Inc. and it was like some overview guy, and he was like, everybody knows that there really are monsters under your bed. And a mom literally stood up because she was next to her kid, who I guess was like still scared of monsters, and she was like, they're lying, they're lying. So I was like, oh, I gotta see this movie. Yeah. And I loved it. I love Billy Crystal.
Mike Wazowski.
Oh, it's so good. So okay, Ratatouille, yeah. Monsters Inc., yeah. Up is so good. Oh shoot.
Up is great. Like, you always think of the opening sequence, but Up is great start to finish.
It is. Coco. You can't beat Coco. You really can't. I didn't even have Coco in my mind.
Coco's a modern classic Pixar movie.
Amazing. And then I guess you got to go with Toy Story.
I also Knocking on the Door was WALL-E.
I do like WALL-E. And okay, listen, hear me out. Life is a highway. Cars is actually really
Cars
good.
was like the 7th movie we covered on this podcast. Please go back and listen to our Cars episode.
I hated Cars growing up. I was like, or whenever it came out, I was like, Cars stinks. It's the worst Pixar movie, like whatever. Okay, I just watched it a couple years ago, like last year for the podcast. It rips.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cars rips.
On Rotten Tomatoes, it's the Cars is the 23rd highest rated Pixar movie.
I love it. So shout out to Cars.
Was Tangled Pixar or Disney?
That's Disney.
I think I would shout out Tangled if it were Pixar, but it's not.
It's not. What about like Inside Out?
I liked Inside Out, but I think I really liked it when I watched it. It doesn't really leave that type of... It didn't really hit me like that.
Finding Nemo's really good. The Incredibles is really good.
I haven't seen Finding Nemo since I've not been like 12 years old, and I didn't really love it, but I might like it more now.
Incredibles is good?
Yeah, Incredibles is good. There was another one that I
Incredibles 2 was actually really good too.
There's another one that I just saw that I was like, oh yeah, that one too. Oh, Luca. I liked Luca.
Luca was cute.
Yeah, like not one that I'm carrying with me, but I really liked watching Luca. It was, I mean, Italy, you know, Venice, so it's beautiful stuff.
A lot of good ones. All right, so there's definitely a Remy ride now in Epcot, right?
Yes.
What's another Disney movie you'd like to see a ride of?
I think you could go really trippy if you did a Soul ride.
Oh yeah, you could.
You could get really weird with a Soul ride. That would feels like Epcot to me.
Oh yeah. Replacing Figment maybe.
Replacing Figment?
You would never be able to replace Figment.
If you're replacing Figment, just burn the whole place down. No, I think because you got a lot of like weird stuff you could do with Soul. You could make it a scary ride almost, you know. But it's also got like jazziness to it, you know. So like you could do a whole lot with Soul. I think.
I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I think I would do a High School Musical one.
Oh, we're talking Disney in general.
I said Disney.
Yeah, you're right. You did.
I think I would.
What would you do for High School Musical?
I don't know. Just fun.
A basketball sim game. Get your head in the game.
Yeah, and then you have to run and get to the auditions, and then you have to sing, and then everybody like see if like people boo you or not.
Yeah, but also like you meet someone random there who also comes in and auditions at the same time.
I mean, it writes itself.
Who you saw on like a cruise a few months prior.
Yeah. How about a Joe Somebody ride?
Joe Somebody. We just talked about this movie yesterday. Is that a Disney movie?
Yeah, I think so. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I was about to say, what about Pirates of the Caribbean?
Literally a movie based on a ride. What about Haunted Mansion?
Oh my god. They tried that twice. Did not work either time for the movie based on the ride.
Joe Somebody is not Disney.
Well, it should be.
It's 20th Century Fox. Are you thinking of Joe versus the Volcano?
No, I thought Joe Somebody was Disney.
No. No, it's Fox.
How about this? What about Disney's The Kid?
Disney's The Kid?
You know that one?
No.
Bruce Willis and the kid from 2.5 Men?
No. Spencer Breslin?
Oh, no, that's not him. Is that him?
We're all over
No, I'm talking about Angus T. Jones.
We're all over the place right now. Emily Mortimer, Lily Tomlin, Gene Smart, also in Disney's The Kid.
I mean,
When are we doing Disney's The Kid?
what about a Disney's The Kid ride?
I bet that'll have people flocking to it. It'll be like when the Frozen ride opened and you couldn't get on it all day.
See, I'm telling you, they'd be like, "Wait, Disney's The
Disney's
Kid?
The Kid? Oh my God.
We got a book now."
Yes.
Okay, well, sorry for shouting out Angus T. Jones. That's a jump scare right there. All right, anyway. Another question I've got 2 more for you.
Okay.
Did this movie inspire you to cook?
Yeah, it really did. This movie and the restaurant we went to yesterday, which we will get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think everything looks great in this movie, and anyone can cook, so.
And I've been cooking like Garbo the past few weeks.
I wouldn't say Garbo. I would say you've been putting food on the table.
Oh, tragic. And then finally, how do you feel about fancy restaurants?
I think that it depends, like any restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a place that is more about its own, if it's a selfish restaurant, I generally will not like it. If it's a restaurant that is trying to either push the boundaries with food or trying to hone a classic, and it's for the consumer and not for the ego of the chef. I find that a lot of chefs, just from watching like TV, not real chefs, I don't know many real chefs in real life, but just from like TV shows and stuff, I find that a lot of them are driven by their own ego, and I don't really like those chefs. I feel like those are chefs that I wouldn't really want to eat their food, even if it's good. Like, food's a vibe, man. If you're bad vibes, your food's bad vibes.
Wow.
And I think that fine dining, low class dining, Taco Bell, if it's prepared with love, if it's prepared with reverence for food or for people, then I think it's going to be good. Or it's at least going to be better than it would be otherwise.
That's a nice answer.
Yeah.
My answer is yeah, because fancy restaurants is good. We don't go to many of those.
They usually are good for a reason. Like,
okay, well, here's the thing. Like, people, it's snooty and like blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but the food is at the fancy restaurants I've been to, or not even fancy, like really like well received, like acclaimed places, that kind of thing. Been to only a few, and the food is really good at every single one of them.
yeah, but you're also picking and choosing ones that are most interesting to you.
Yeah, of course.
You know? I don't know if it's... I'm just saying I think you're picking good places.
Okay, yeah, but at the same time, like, if anyone was like, oh, I'll pay for you to go to, like, a fancy restaurant, I'd say, okay.
Okay. Well, that hasn't happened. So.
No, it hasn't. No, it has not happened yet.
Hit us on Patreon.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay. Is this the most unrealistic Pixar concept?
No, probably not.
I know there's a lot of them. Even talking toys, I think I could get behind over...
You can't get behind rat
over
cooking.
A rat pulling a guy's hair.
Kind of could. Think of Subway rat.
You mean Pizza Rat?
Pizza rat, yeah.
These are some great rats. Splinter.
There's lots of good rats, and food is involved.
It's not the rats. It's the rat pulling the hair that's like triggering the brain to go to the certain areas of Linguini's arms so that he can put the right stuff into each meal and that proportion it out correctly to make it from a recipe into an edible meal and becomes the best chef in France.
I mean, that's just calisthenics.
What?
You just you just need to practice it and you would be able to do it.
Yeah, but they didn't. It was a rat pulling his hair.
Yeah, but they practiced it. Because the first time it was like a little crazy.
Oh, you're talking about they need to practice the The nerve endings.
Yeah, if you just practice, you're fine.
See, I think that it's the most unrealistic, maybe, Pixar concept. I haven't seen a couple.
What about Cars? What about Cars 2, where Mater is the James Bond?
Secret spy?
I think that Larry the Cable Guy as the secret spy is the least realistic.
I don't. Larry the Cable Guy might actually be a secret spy. And we wouldn't know because he's so damn good at it.
All right. Well, I also think that another unrealistic one is probably, I don't know, let's say Up.
What's wrong with Up?
Flying House.
Maybe. When was the last time you attached hundreds of balloons to our house to see if it would float?
I really don't think it would.
Well, first of all, there would be no running water.
Yeah.
The pipes wouldn't connect to anything.
I
There'd be
just
no
think-
electricity.
That one's pretty unrealistic.
He might have had a generator.
What about The Good Dinosaur?
I
That
haven't-
wasn't good.
They're just no. See,
Just
that's not
the title.
that's not unrealistic. It's just lying.
Jackie Weston, you're about to text us. I don't know. What other Pixar movies are there?
Turning Red.
I mean, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, me either. Inside Out.
That's a metaphor.
It is
So
metaphor.
it's
So
hard
is
to
Soul.
say that. Yeah. It's hard to say that those are unrealistic because those are metaphors.
Monsters Inc. is real.
Oh, yeah. No, that one's pretty realistic.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. is real.
How about Finding Nemo? They travel across like the entire ocean.
Yeah, but I mean, the Jaws shark did it in Jaws 3 or whatever, so
Yeah.
it's possible. And I think that's probably it. I think that's all the
Brave.
Pixar movies. I didn't see Brave.
I didn't really like that one.
What was it about? Oh, like an archer, right?
Yeah, in Scotland.
That's real.
And she's got like, do you know what's unrealistic about that one? That she doesn't tie her hair back. Her hair's
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
in her eyes
Yeah.
and stuff, and she still arches away.
She's got that wild hair.
Yep. So that might be it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to go with yes for this one. Knowing that a rat makes the food, would you eat at Gusteau's or La Ratatouille?
Probably not. But if someone paid for me to do it, I probably would.
But what if you knew that, like, when all the rats come in to cook the food, he, like, puts them in the wash and he, like, washes them? What if they
Yeah.
were clean rats?
Yeah, that's fine. I probably would then.
Okay, I don't know if I would.
I probably would. I don't know who's cooking my food.
It's a tough sell. Like, honestly, yeah, it could always be a rat.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wearing a Taco Bell shirt. I think rats have cooked. Rats, if there's any restaurant on earth where a rat has cooked in real life, it's probably Taco Bell. And will I eat there again? Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah. So yeah, I would do it.
Would you rather Gusteau's or La Ratatouille?
I don't care. I'd eat it either one.
Yeah, especially because it's animated and it's not real food. So.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'd eat it either
You're just
one.
eating-
And it seems like they just moved it. Like it's the same menu.
Well, okay.
Anton gets the same thing.
First of all, how did they get away with this? How did they get the permits to open the new restaurant?
Anton ego.
They said his credibility was gone at the end because
but he could still he's got favors. I'm sure he could ask.
none of his credibility's gone and his career's washed down the toilet.
It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's more about like your connection with people.
He was writing bad reviews from a coffin-shaped room on a skull-shaped typewriter.
He was my king.
He's great. Anton Ego is great.
He was awesome.
Anton Ego is great.
Can we be him for Halloween next year?
Both of us?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's that then.
You're going to be the pre-Ratatouille one. I'll be the post-Ratatouille one. So you'll be sad and I'll be smiling.
Okay. That tracks. Yeah, we talked about our top Pixar movies. Okay. If you could pick one famous chef, real or fictional, alive or dead, to serve you one meal, who would it be and what would the meal be?
I've really thought about this one. I think I'm going to go with Reed Drummond.
The Pioneer Roman baby.
And the recipe is the bread.
That makes me so mad.
The recipe is the bread. Have you ever heard of this recipe?
No.
So you take what I have memorized it. You can literally look up Reed Drummond the bread recipe on Pioneer Woman. Okay, you take one loaf of bread, you cut it in half, you put an entire stick of butter on one half, an entire stick of butter on the other half, and you just broil it. Do you see it?
I'm looking at it right now. It has on food.com it has 3 out of 5.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. On her website it has a 5 out of 5.
There you go. See?
Wow, what a day. September 17th, 2010, the day the bread was posted.
2 sticks of butter on an entire loaf of bread.
Ingredients: 1 loaf French bread split lengthwise, 2 sticks regular salted butter softened. Period.
See? I mean, I remember it in my brain forever.
Whenever I have a friend or family over for dinner, they will ask the following question, and then this is in giant letters. Are you making the bread? And I always smile and say, yes, I am making the bread. I smile because it's a foregone conclusion that I will be making the bread. I smile because the bread is so darn delicious and no one who tastes it can believe it contains only 2 ingredients. I smile because it's probably the easiest, simplest, effortless thing I make. I smile because butter is involved.
There you go. See? No, that's not my real answer. Are you impressed that I know an entire recipe though?
Oh yeah.
Straight from the noggin.
Lot to remember.
No, my answer is Julia Child.
The queen.
And the recipe that I would want is probably the cheese souffle. Because it's apparently like pretty tough. Pretty tough to make.
Did you watch Julie and Julia?
I did. It's a really cute movie. It's really good.
That's Amy Adams, right?
And Meryl Streep.
Meryl.
I want to explore more of her, like Julia Child's background and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because, she's fascinating. Oh, and Stanley Tucci plays her husband in the movie.
Okay, is that your dream?
Yeah, I do love Stanley Tucci. So yeah, it would be her, and then it'd be that. Or there's a soup that I don't know how to pronounce. It starts with a V, and it's a leek and potato soup. It's like Vichy. It's got like a couple S's in it. Yeah, exactly. That also would be good. Also, she does
Vichy
like, yeah,
is that it?
Yes, and like maybe some crepes for dessert.
Okay, we're going French.
Oh, we're going French. Why not?
Yeah.
She is known for other things too, like a quiche Lorraine.
Yeah.
But I don't eat ham. And then like the coq au vin, but I don't eat chicken. And then like the beef bourguignon, but I don't eat beef. So like a lot of her recipes I can't eat.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of stuff that I would be interested in. So I think Julia Child. What's your answer?
I want Gordon Ramsay to make me a beef Wellington so I can give him some of his own medicine.
Oh no, come on. He's a nice guy.
I would play it
He's
up.
actually nice.
I would do it as a joke. I would be like, "Oh, this is absolutely awful."
I'm sure he's never heard that one before.
I know, I'm sure not, but I would want to be the one to do it.
Wow.
My real answer is David Viana from Heirloom
Kitchen. That's my guy.
Yeah, we went there yesterday.
Yeah, it was so good.
He was a Top Chef guy. He's a great chef. We actually we talked to him. He was nice.
Really nice.
Yeah. And the meal, I would want it to be exactly what I had yesterday, which was, we had some like Moroccan bread.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Like some whipped feta, caramelized onions.
Mm-hmm.
I had some salmon crudo.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. Scallion spaghetti with some crab.
Yep.
Duck was my favorite. It had like Jamaican spices, some braised cabbage, and then a peanut butter and jelly like bread pudding kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that
would be an ideal meal for me in hypothetical, in theory.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chef David Viana. Is that how you say his name?
I think so.
That's
We go like once a year now. That's our new thing.
Yeah. It's our only like fancy place that we go to.
And it's like not. It's actually very reasonably priced.
It is. That's why we go there.
For like a multi-course prefix menu, and they're super nice there and not stuffy at all. And
yeah,
they also do cooking classes. We got to try one of those out.
Yeah.
It's a great place. I really like it. And yeah, he's a great chef.
Yeah. That's all I got for questions.
Cool.
I have a couple notes. One was you saying, quote, linguine, no riz.
It's true. Linguine's got no riz. None.
That was right at the beginning when he was like knocking stuff over.
Oh, yeah. No, he's not it, bruh.
He's a clown. I also wrote, it's easy to make fun of the old lady for shooting up her house over just one rat, but I really respect that. I know that there are probably some rodents here in our house, but if I see one, I'm torching this whole place to the ground.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Roger Ebert review. He gave it
3.5.
4 stars out of 4.
4 out of 4. Raj. Oh my gosh.
He wrote, this is the establishment of Auguste Gusteau, author of the bestseller Anyone Can Cook, a title that might not go over very well in France, which is why the book appears to be in English and might well be titled Anyone Can Cook Better Than the English.
Oh my gosh.
Famous British recipe, cook until gray.
He's mean.
Then he says, all of this begins as a dubious premise and ends as a triumph of animation, comedy, imagination, and yes, humanity. What is most lovable about Remy is his modesty and shyness, even for a rat. He has body language so expressive that many humans would trade for it. Many animated characters seem to communicate with semaphores, but Remy has a repertoire of tiny French hand gestures, shrugs, and physical expressiveness.
Yeah, he's so cute.
Does any other nationality have more ways of moving a finger and an eyebrow less than an inch while signaling something as complex as, I would do anything for you, monsieur, but as you see, I have only 2 hands, and these times we live in do not permit me the luxury of fulfilling such requests. He ends by saying, this is clearly one of the best of the year's films. Every time an animated film is successful, you have to read all over again about how animation isn't, quote, just for children, but, quote, for the whole family, and, quote, even for adults going out on their own. No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, too, why this one, I think it could have been a Best Picture contender if they put the resources into it. Trivia. I already mentioned the one, so I'll just do my remainder of the 4. Chef and television personality Anthony Bourdain said this was his favorite food-centric movie. He said they got the food, the reactions to food, and tiny details right, down to the barely noticeable pink burns on one of the characters' forearms. I thought it captured a passionate love of food in a way that very few other films have. Number 3. Auguste Gusteau's surname is a pun on gustation, the technical term for the sense of taste. Auguste plays on the adjective August, meaning impressive, lordly, authoritative, and perhaps a kindly reference to his size. Number 4. The villain in this movie is the head chef, Skinner, voiced by Sir Ian Holm, who you may know from Lord of the Rings. He played Bilbo Baggins. Tries to put Remy in a box. The character was named after behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner, who was known for the Skinner box, where rats were placed and trained to push a button for food. And number 5. Linguini is the first Pixar character to get drunk.
There you go. There you go.
Yep. He gets drunk. Skinner makes him drink because he's trying to get him to spill about being Gusteau's son, and he doesn't. Because he catches on. No, he tries to get him to spill about the rat, about Remy, and he doesn't. What else we got? I'm going to cobble together a little bit of a deep dive here. I have something, but I wasn't able to really draw something up about it, so I'm just going to talk about it. So, I don't love like articles, comments, TikToks, think pieces that are like, oh, this heinous villain is actually the hero of the movie. I think those are really stupid 99% of the time. But there was an article from eater.com that had a fascinating perspective on the way that Anton Ego uses criticism and like why he's actually a pretty fair and ahead of his time reviewer. It's by Ryan Sutton, who is a food reviewer, who has also had accusations of being way too mean. He basically talks about how like the criticism, it's hard to be a food critic in a way because you're not respected at all because you're not actually doing it. You know, he says the role of a critic or artist as an informed, erudite professor rather than a fickle tastemaker with a lifetime appointment is a theme that Ratatouille takes seriously, and it's ultimately what helps unite Remy and Ego as they follow parallel courses through life. In a particularly moving scene about taste, Remy uses the power of verbal descriptions to help a fellow rat, a creature whose consumption patterns are generally subsistence-based, to appreciate the nuances of a grape and cheese flavoring pairing. Of course, Remy isn't just speaking to a rat, he's speaking to us, the audience, a group of people who might have spent less time pondering the importance of such things than a professional cook or eater. Ego, meanwhile, gets to use his review not just as a simplistic plot device, i.e. will the restaurant survive, but as a means to shape our collective understanding of what's happening at Gusteau's and in the larger culinary world. He's less a fastidious exam-grading Michelin inspector and more a Greek chorus, someone breaking the fourth wall and explaining to millions of viewers why it's a big deal to, say, shine a light on someone outside the mainstream culinary establishment. He talks about how he says one could go on about all these things and about other smart depictions of restaurants in Ratatouille. The filmmakers were ahead of their time in presenting a hot take. How do you say that word? Hot take on a simple vegetable dish as the chief objective of desire. Indeed, the movie came out during the late aughts, a time when, in New York at least, a porky and meaty style of gastronomy was reigning supreme. And in an era where high-profile culinary figures still take up a lion's share of the spotlight in reviews despite efforts to change that reality, the chef owner at Gusteau's insists he did none of the cooking when Ego shows up. And then he says, Of course, none of these musings about criticism provide for the same visual drama as waiting for, say, Julia Roberts to issue an impromptu culinary verdict before she tries to destroy the nuptials of a good buddy. But still, the fact that chefs and diners continue to admire the Ego speech a decade and a half after its debut, not something that could be said about scenes from Burnt or My Best Friend's Wedding, suggests that viewers want a heck of a lot more substance from their restaurant critics, whether real or fictional. Ego is far from perfect, and I'd probably be escorted out of a restaurant if I told a waiter I'd like some well-seasoned perspective for dinner as he does. But for now, I feel confident in saying that he is nothing less than the finest food critic in all of cinema.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's a longer article. I just took bits and pieces, but it's a nice little thing about how he's even the sort of the guy writing the reviews in the coffin-shaped room and with the skull-shaped typewriter, like there's more to him than that. And he's a character that could easily be a caricature, but in fact, he's sort of reflective of the culinary world itself of the time. Is a really I never would have. I'm not tapped into that world like that, so I think that's a really interesting perspective from someone who is. Any other thoughts?
No, it's a good movie.
Yeah, Ratatouille's great. Does it make Baby's First Watch List?
Yeah.
Yep, Ratatouille. You make it. You did it, Ratatouille. Congratulations. You made it to the top of the world in France. Now you made it to the top of the world on Baby's First Watch List.
That's right.
What takeaways do you have?
Follow your passion.
Let me know if you're talking to a rat.
I think both of those are good.
Yeah. Follow your passion. Not only that, but also don't be afraid to like sort of do your own thing no matter. It's like a subsection of that where like even if you feel like you're not, if you don't fit into that category, I mean, it's a freaking rat. Shouldn't be cooking French food. You would think, right?
You'd think.
As long as it's something that is productive or positive, it's okay if you don't feel like you are the kind of center of that universe. You can do it. Anyone can cook.
I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, so that was Ratatouille. Next week, we are going to start our December movies. We could pick them now or we can wait.
Yeah, we can pick them now.
All right, so what do you want to do next week?
Let's do The Holiday.
Why don't we do Roman Holiday next week?
Okay.
We're going to do Roman Holiday next week.
Then we're going to do The Holiday.
Then we're going to do The Holiday. And then what else?
Well, isn't Uncle Alex coming back?
Oh, yeah, we may have Uncle Alex on next month for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yep.
We're not really doing like a holiday-themed month this time. We did a bunch of themes. Our themes are going to be fun. That's the theme.
The theme is, whatevs. But Roman Holiday goes into The Holiday, and that's kind of Christmassy, and I'm pretty sure
Roman Holiday, not Christmassy.
No. And I'm pretty sure that Chamber of Secrets has a Christmas thing to it.
Probably. They usually do.
Right?
Yeah.
Happy Christmas, Harry.
Yeah.
Happy Christmas, Ron.
That was definitely Sorcerer's Stone, but...
And then I don't know what we could do last.
Yeah, I don't know either. We'll figure it out. Check out our Instagram on December 1st, which is when I'll drop the rest of the movie. So we're 99% going to do Roman Holiday, The Holiday, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets somewhere in there, and I think we only have one other slot. I think it's only a 4-week month. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then so our last episode will be the day after Christmas. Okay, great. So maybe we will do a Christmas one for that last one.
Might be a good idea.
Depending on when Alex can come on.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So this was Ratatouille, and we will see you next week for Roman Holiday.
Goodbye.
Bye.